I believe that you were born to do something extraordinary that only a few people can do. However, being the best kept secret is not a badge of honor. You need to be visible, heard, and seen by the right set of people. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how you can build an irresistible personal brand so that you can stand out in your industry, build influence, and of course, attract the right set of people, especially high net worth individuals, to your brand. First, I'd like to say that building a personal brand is not about being a talented individual or being a celebrity. Anyone can build a personal brand that can stand out and attract the right set of individuals. Building a personal brand has to do with you putting out your best self, even your vulnerabilities, to attract and of course to connect genuinely with people. So what then is a personal brand? What then is personal branding? It is about building your 3 R's, which is being recognized, being remembered, and being revered. In this video, I'm going to be focusing on how you can be able to achieve these 3. Talk about being recognized. We have over 8 billion people on earth. What makes you different? What makes you stand out? What is your unique ability? And I'd like to wrap it up by saying, what is your superpower? Because if you're able to find out what makes you stand out, what is your unique ability, then you will be able to know what is your superpower. Now, talking about 8 billion people, even a set of twins have different identities, have different thumbprints, which goes to show that we're unique. We all have different stories, which deserves to be heard and seen. When we talk about being unique, a lot of people still have a problem of not being able to find out what makes them unique, what makes them stand out, what is their purpose. A lot of people have not been able to solve this question of who am I. It's fine. You don't need to beat yourself up. We've all gone through that process. It's a normal thing for you not to know your purpose yet. However, it is very important for you to find a way to identify what makes you unique and get your superpower. Now, I'll be showing you how you can be able to find out what your superpower is so that you can be able to build a unique personal brand. Now, how do you identify your superpower? First, you need to look at your physical gifts. Then you look at your talent and skills. And then you look at your passion and interest. Let's start with your physical gifts. Now, you could be someone who is very, very handsome, dark-skinned, you have a deep voice, be a beautiful lady, it's probably you know how to sing, These are the physical gifts that probably you were born with. Maybe you have an aura that not everybody has. When you step into a room, everybody wants to have a conversation with you. That is your physical gift. And these are things you need to look at when you're building a personal brand. Now, the next thing you should look at when you want to identify your superpower is, what are your talent and skills? Now, what are your talent and skills? For some of us, we've been able to harness our physical gifts into talent and skills. So let's say you have a very wonderful voice. You may probably want to look at public speaking. You probably want to look at becoming a musician. Yeah? You may probably want to look at a lot of things that has to do with you harnessing your voice. If you have a very wonderful skin tone, modeling is something you could look at. So these are ways you could harness your talent and skills, right? You harness your talent and skills basically from your personal gifts. That's where you harness your talent and skills. Now, once you've been able to identify that, you go into your passion and interests. Now, a lot of us have passion that we are trying to suppress just because the society has not identified it yet, or the society does not agree with you. What are your passion? What is your complaint? Now, your complaint is your calling. If you find yourself always angry about poverty, or you find yourself always saying that you know how things are supposed to be done, but they are not done, you're not supposed to just complain about it and leave it that way. You were born to do something about it. So what are your passion? What do you enjoy doing? What do you like doing? What are your interests? What are you interested in? One of the things that the society has made us to believe is that if you have an interest in building wealth, you are probably a selfish person. But let me tell you, you cannot help anybody if you do not have money. If you don't have the capacity financially, the help you can render to the world will be limited to your physical self. You understand? So it's okay for you to say your interest is building wealth. It's okay for you to say your interest is helping people. These are things you should look at, and this is where you would harness your superpower. Now, once you've been able to identify these three things, I will be giving you an assignment on how you can be able to harness that superpower so that we can start building an incredible personal brand for you right away. Now, the next thing you will do for me is take a pen and paper and write down 100 things that you think you're very, very good at. 100 things that you think could be your superpower. Let's say you know how to sing. Let's say you know how to write. Let's say you know you're a strategic person. You can think outside the box. Write it down. Let's say you can create, you can edit, you can sketch, you can draw. Write everything you think could be your superpower. Write it down. Make sure they are 100. Now, the reason why I'm saying you need to make sure it's up to 100 is that as you keep on writing, as you keep on thinking, your brain will begin to help you analyze and bring them up to the limelight. Maybe things that you probably have been doing, you could wake up at any time and do it without thinking twice. Sometimes you may think that those things that are easy for you to do is just a normal thing. This could be your superpower. It could be hidden in the most mundane thing, right? Write it down. Now, the first 20 to the first 50, or let's say the first 10, are probably your most dominant superpower. And that doesn't mean that the rest are not your superpowers. It means that probably some you may need to identify and groom them and scale them, of course. Now, once you've been able to get that, the next thing I want you to do is ask 5 persons, genuinely, people who are close to you, to describe you. What do they think you are? Now one of the reasons why I want you to take this assignment very serious is because some of us have a personal perception about ourselves that are quite different from what we portray outside. Let's say you see yourself as someone who is honest. However, probably because of your actions, you do not portray that to people. Or maybe you see yourself as someone who is a wealth builder, who is very intentional about wealth creation. However, because of the way that you portray yourself outside, you do not look, or people do not see you as such. So you need to ask people to describe you. But you need to take constructive criticism and feedback from people to be able to grow, to be able to advance. So that is the place of caring about what people say about what you do, not to define you, but to be able to refine you. Care about what people say, not to define you, but to refine you. That means that you can take constructive criticism and feedback from people to be able to refine your weaknesses or your strengths to be able to serve your generation better. Now, do these 2 assignments, and in the next 1 week or 2 days or 3 days, come back to this comment section and tell me what you've been able to find out about yourself and what are your unique abilities and superpowers. And after you've done this assignment, we move to the next most important thing, which is being recognized. It is assumed that you've been able to find out what your superpower is. Right now, we need to get you recognized. You need to be visible. Yes, you have a superpower, but are you visible? Yes, you are able, but are you visible? You need to be seen. Like I started the video by saying that being the best kept secret is not a badge of honor. Now, when we go into being recognized, the 3 questions you need to answer is: how do I create awareness? How do I create interest? And how do I build desire in the heart and minds of people? Very, very important. Now, creating awareness has to do with you building a public perception, right? Now, let's say you have been able to identify your superpowers. Now, how do you create awareness? You need to stand out. You need to come to the limelight. You need to be in the hearts and minds and faces of people. So let's talk about how you can be able to attract the right set of people by being recognized for who you are, your superpowers, and of course, even your vulnerabilities. Because for you to be able to have genuine connections with people, we don't just want you to portray what you're very, very good at. Do you like people who always tell you, I'm an extremely successful person, I'm a very wealthy person, who always portray their strengths? People connect genuinely with you when you show that you are human. And being human has to do with you being vulnerable. We have weaknesses. Most times we portray only our strength to people and then we hide our weaknesses. Of course, you have to apply wisdom to these things so that people don't take advantage of you. However, it is very important to also be vulnerable. In fact, that is one of the most easiest ways to connect genuinely with people so that you can be able to find your tribe. Because if you're always portraying your strength to people, then you do not know who is following you for who you are, right? Now, I'm going to help you set up a customer journey map so that you can be able to get recognized. The first thing you should look at in the customer journey map is, how do I create awareness? The second thing is, how do I get people to be interested? Now, the third thing is, how do I create desire? Awareness, people get to know about you. Interested, people want to engage with you. Desire, people want to give you money, or they want to exchange value. Understand, there's an exchange of value. So people want to pay you for your services, people want to get you to partner, or people want to do a lot of things with you. So that is when there's an exchange of value. So awareness, how do I create awareness? I would like to tell you this, that people do not follow corporations, they follow personalities. Let me say this again. People don't follow corporations, they follow personality. A case study of Tony Elumelu, Oprah Winfrey, Richard Branson, and top global personal brands that you probably are already aware of. These are personalities that you yourself watching this video would want to associate with, because they built an incredible personal brand, right? Now they've built awareness. They started by creating awareness. They have their stories that they've been able to put out there. Oprah Winfrey, breaking the glass ceiling of women, being able to come out and do something unique and extraordinary that has never been done before. Like Tony Elumelu coming out from not so wealthy background to building, and of course, an incredible empire. I was reading one of his articles a few days ago, and he was talking about his fears. How his fears led him to creating one of the biggest empires in Africa. He was at some point just wanted to get out of poverty. He just wanted to have a nice car and a nice house. That is to show you where he is coming from. He was at some point scared about what the fate of his family could be if he didn't do something about it. And that is his vulnerabilities. He shared his vulnerabilities so that people can genuinely connect, because I believe we all have gone or currently going through that process, and that is what people connect with, because at some point that is the main problem that people want to connect with you for you to help them solve as a personal brand. So you amplify this thing. So they were able to come out in the limelight by creating awareness. Now, how do you create awareness? How do you create awareness? First, you need to decide and choose your audience. Who do you want to serve? On whose lips do you want to be talked about? You cannot be everywhere when it comes to building a personal brand. You need to decide which generation you want to serve with your personal brand. For Tony Elumelu, for instance, he is currently serving youths, and of course, now you need to decide who your audience, who your tribe is. If you are a financial person, you need to look at the financial space. If you were going into entertainment, you need to look at the entertainment industry. However, even in those industries, you need to look at, okay, do you want to serve the youth? Do you want to serve the millennials? Do you want to serve the old money? These are things you should look at, because if you don't decide who you want to serve, if you've not made that decision, you will not even be able to connect to their problem. So if I am into real estate, right? I'm into real estate and media. So I would want to go into, if you've not decided what audience you want to serve, you won't even be able to know their problems. And by that, you will not be able to provide solutions to them. Okay, I want to be known for real estate and media. So I want to go into the media space, I want to go into the real estate space, and of course, provide solutions. However, I cannot provide solutions to the various value chain of real estate. I need to identify a specific space, for instance, development. So I want to be known for that, and I'll push content, I'll push myself to that direction and create awareness, and I'll be able to attract people who want to have solutions in that direction. like media space as well, the same thing. So you need to define your audience so that you can be able to, your personal brand needs to be pointed towards a direction. It needs to have a direction. Very important. And if you've been able to define your audience, the next thing you need to do is, what are your goals? You need to identify your goals. Now, what do you want to achieve from this personal brand? Now, for some of us, possibly you want to build a personal brand because you want to build influence. Possibly you want to make more money, be invited to speak at events. There's certainly a reason why you want to build a personal brand. So you need to put out those reasons. You need to set the goals why you want to build this personal brand. When you're setting your goals, I don't want you to think about what people are going to say. Be very genuine with yourself. If your purpose of building a personal brand is to make money, it's fine. Just find a way to solve people's problem while doing that. Just find a way to be purposeful while doing that. It's not bad to make money. And I keep saying this, I'm an advocate for financial prosperity, because poverty has done so much harm, and I don't think it has even done any good. You understand? Poverty can never do you any good. I don't even want to say poverty has done so much harm than good. Poverty is not good for anybody. I don't even wish that for anyone. So if you want to make money from building your personal brand, it's fine. Find a way to solve people's problem. If you want to impact, maybe you're a humanitarian, you want whatever you want to do, set your goals so that you can be able to build your brand towards that. Now, still on the subject of awareness, you need to design your visual identity. Now, this is where the branding comes in. Now, the branding that so many people are very familiar with, this is where you have your logo, you have your color palettes, you have your professional photos, and of course, you have your personal profile and every other thing. But branding is way, way bigger than just having a digital. At my company, TMA Media, we've helped a lot of high net worth individuals to build an irresistible personal brand. And most times when we speak to a couple of them at the consultancy session, most times what they just want is to have, a good logo, a good color palette, but it's way beyond that. As you can see, I started conversations about personal brand since, and I've not even mentioned logos or anything. Those are it's just a pinch of salt when you're talking about building a personal brand. It's just a pinch of salt. Now, so when you've done your color palette, you've done your logo, you have your visual identity. Now, the next thing you need to do is build digital presence. Now, we're in the age of AI. We're in the age of social media. So much can be done right from your room. I'm recording this video right now from my home office, and I can tell you that it's going to go viral, it's going to go out there, and people are going to see it. So you need to build digital presence. You need to decide on which platform do you want people to see you, on where do you want to be seen and heard. This is a very, very important factor for you to check. And I don't want you to be on every social media and on everybody's face. It's very important. Or try to find out which of these social media platforms aligns with the kind of brand you're trying to build. Understand? So if you want to be a professional, I would recommend LinkedIn, or any other thing you want to build, any personal brand you want to build. Find out a social media handle that aligns perfectly with that. So you may want to build on 1 or 2 social media handles. Once you've been able to become recognized on those ones, it's easier for you to scale to other social media platforms and be recognized very, very quickly. Right. Now, the next thing you should do once you build your visual identity, you build your digital presence, is to be consistent. You need to be consistent. You need to put out the right, which will lead us to how you can build interest. Yes, you are now in the faces of people, but how do you get them to be interested in what you are doing? That is where becoming valuable comes in. You need to define your values. Now, what are your values? What is important to you? Now, your value is the lens through which you see the world. Let's say you're passionate about helping women, you're passionate about helping vulnerable communities, or let's say you're passionate about creating wealth. I'm very passionate about creating wealth and helping thousands and millions of people to also create wealth for themselves. That is why I'm on this YouTube channel. And by the way, if you've not subscribed to this YouTube channel, please do well to subscribe and hit the notification button so that you can be notified anytime I am live or anytime a new video comes up. Now, back to what I'm saying. If You are passionate about helping people create wealth. These are your values. Now, you need to find out what your core values are, because these are what will get people interested in you. Now, your values, let's give an instance. You want to be a person of integrity. People know you to deliver on what you say. Your words become your bond. You need to be honest. People know you to be very sincere. When they come to you, they know that you can be able to give them honest advice, right? Now, you need to be competent. Competence in the sense that when people give you contracts or jobs you can execute, you need to be honest so that people will be able to trust you. You need to be competent. You need to be excellent. So these are values that you should look at when building a personal brand, because this is what will get people interested. It's not just about having the right content out there. It's about building these values. These people are not fools. People are giving you one of the precious things in their life, which is time. People are coming to you. Some of them will give you money. Some of them will give you value in a way that you can never imagine. So they are not fools. You need to be someone, a person of integrity. You need to have competence. You need to be excellent. You need to be honest so that people would be genuinely interested in you. Now, this is how you get people interested in your brand. Now, the next thing is, once you've been able to get people interested, the next thing is, how do I create desire? This is where you need to learn sales. Building a brand is very important, but you need to learn sales. Sales is one of the most highest paid professions in the world, because you can design your earning ceiling. You can design how much you want to earn. This is how you get people to design. Sales is a skill you need to learn. By the way, I have a video on sales. I'll be attaching the link to the description button just in case you want to go through it to be able to harness your sales skills, because this is how you are able to get people to desire what you're offering as a personal brand. You want people to patronize your business. You want people to, naturally people will reach out to you, of course, but if you are not a salesperson, you will not be able to collect the money. You understand? So you need to build your sales skills so that you can be able to build wealth. Of course, if you are not excellent in your sales, your brand will not be able to scale, and you will not be able to serve people better. There's no nobility in poverty. I'm a big preacher of that. There's no nobility in poverty. You need to learn how to serve people and solve their problems, and of course be rewarded in return for that. Now, let's say you've been able to do these three things: create awareness, build interest, and create desire. What then is the next thing to do? Remember, we're in being recognized. Now, the next thing is being remembered. How do you get remembered? Being remembered means that if someone has a problem that has to do with your personal brand, your name clicks immediately in their minds and they come to you for solutions. Let me say that again. If someone has a problem that has to do with your personal brand, that your personal brand is currently solving, your name immediately rings a bell in their minds and in their hearts, and immediately they come to you for solutions. That is being remembered. Now, this is where you want to be as a personal brand. I like to tell you that products are built in factories, but a personal brand, a good brand, is built in the hearts and minds of people. Let me say that again. Products are built in factories, but a great brand is built in the hearts and minds of people, because that is where they get to remember you and always come to you for solutions. People don't want to buy products. They want to belong to a tribe. Why do you think a lot of people watch football? It's not just about it's not just about the excitement that comes with it. It's about being part of something bigger than you. People want to belong to a community, and that is what you should look at doing when you want to be remembered. You need to find a way to build a community. Building a community in a sense that you build a tribe of people that are interested in what you are doing, because you are genuinely providing solutions to their problem. Now, how do you build a community? How do you build a brand that resonates and stands out in the hearts and minds of people? Let's look at water, for instance. I think over 70% of the earth is filled with water, but water is still being sold. I believe you've bought water this week. Probably you've bought water today. Why do people buy water? It is because of one thing: packaging. Very important. Someone took water, refined it, and then packaged it. Some of them don't even refine the water, but they just package it and then they put a price to it. So now let me ask you a question. How well is your packaging? And does your packaging affect the perception of your brand? Does your packaging affect the perception and quality of your brand? Yes, it does. Now look at this picture on your screen. Who is that on the screen? And look at the next picture on the screen. Who is that? Fantastic. Now you were able to identify them without even seeing their faces. You guessed right. I will not even tell you who they are because I know you possibly know who these individuals are. And this is what packaging does. People consistently see you package yourself in a way you want to be. Now let me tell you something. A lot of people want to be known for something, want to be seen and respected for something. Let's say you want to be seen and respected as a businessman, but you do not package yourself as a businessman. There is no second time for first impression. There is no second time for first impression. You need to dress, act, and look the part. Invest in how you look, invest in how you smell, invest in how you speak. Intentionally enroll for these classes. If you personally do not have those traits, don't worry, there's something you can learn. I'm very, very, very passionate about helping people become credible public speakers and, of course, helping them identify their style icon, which is something I'm going to talk about. Don't worry, you can learn. You need to invest in your packaging so that people can be able to respect you. You say you dressed to be addressed. The way you dress is how people get to address you. I'll talk about that in detail shortly. But what I'm saying here is packaging. You need to package yourself. And packaging, of course, packaging should not happen in the absence of value. Yes, there should be value upstairs. That means you need to invest in yourself. You need to invest in yourself. It's one of the greatest form of packaging. You need to invest. But let me give you an instance. Right now, there's the story of the fig tree in the good books. You know, where Jesus was going with his disciples, and then he sees this wonderful tree, and then he goes there to pick up a fruit. He was hungry, of course, and he discovered that there was no fruit on it. And of course, what did he do? He cursed the tree, and the tree dried up immediately. This is how a lot of people approach packaging in the very wrong direction. Don't package yourself if you don't have anything upstairs. And please, don't package yourself if you don't have anything upstairs. You need to invest in personal development, read books, buy books, have mentors, go to places where you will become better. Don't be the best person. It's not always the best thing to be the best person in the room. Invest in yourself so that you have so much value, so that when you begin to attract those people, you can be able to offer solutions to them. Let me give you an instance. If you're with Dangote today, what would you be able to tell him to get him to become an investor in your business? That is what investing in yourself. That is where it comes in. If you build a personal brand and people start reaching out to you, how would you be able to serve them? Because what I'm telling you right now is building a personal brand that can be able to attract high net worth individuals, not just any kind of people with respect to everyone, but I'm talking about high net worth individuals. So when you attract this person, they have a specific language that they speak. How would you be able to serve them? Right now, let me talk about how preparation meets opportunity. If you're in an elevator, Mr. A is in an elevator and then sees Dangote. The next thing he does is pick out his phone and takes a selfie with Dangote. Today with Dangote in an elevator, post on social media, a lot of likes, a lot of comments. Fantastic. Now, Mr. B is in the same elevator, sees Dangote, and the next thing he does is pitch his business. Dangote gets interested, takes his business card, gives him, set up a meeting. The next thing, he's $1 million or dollar richer because he is prepared. This is where preparation meets opportunity, and people begins to call it luck. No, see, if you're not prepared, when you are in the face of opportunity, you will not even be able to identify that opportunity because you were not prepared. Because preparedness is what even helps you to identify opportunities. So this is where packaging, all this I'm talking about is packaging. So if you're in the real estate business, invest in real estate books, mentors, articles, documentaries. I'm a very, very big fan of biographies. Invest in it because it will help you understand what you're going through. There are points in my life and business where I felt like giving up. You understand? And then I stumble upon biographies and documentaries. I watch the videos and I read about great men who have done outstanding things and the problems and challenges they faced. Then I said, oh, I am not the only one. This is actually a very normal thing to go through challenges and problems when you're doing something outstanding. So this is what biographies and documentaries help you to achieve, right? Now, the next thing, after you've been able to package yourself, dress well, of course, I'll touch about that. The next thing is become an equity. This is how you get remembered. Become an equity. Now, how do you become an equity as a personal brand? It still boils down to investing in yourself. It still boils down to becoming so credible in achieving and generating results for people that you become an equity. That becoming an equity means that everybody wants to do business with you. People begin to call you to appear. People begin to call you to appear on their board. People begin to call you to do business with you. People begin to call you to become brand ambassadors in their business because they know having your face on their brands brings more revenue to them. You become an equity by intentionally and radically investing in yourself and the business that you do. Let me say that again. You become an equity by radically, intentionally investing in yourself and the business that you do. There is no two ways about it. You need to be credible. So this is where your credibility comes in. And after you've become an equity, and the next thing you want to do in terms of packaging is identifying your style icon. Who is your style icon? If you observe me very well, if you're on my personal social media handles, you will see that most times I like to post a lot about Tony Elumelu. He's my style icon. Although I like to dress, I like to dress like him. I like to do a lot of things like him because he is my style icon. I want to look like him, right? So you probably might be in the entertainment industry. You need to have a style icon. You need to have a model that you want to replicate. It's very, very important because there's this thing it does. It helps you to be able to dress the part. It helps you to be able to have direction. Now, having a style icon isn't just about the fashion or the dress. No, the style of their character, the style of their speech, the style of their behavior, the style of what they do. Now, this doesn't mean that you lose yourself in the process, you lose your uniqueness in the process. No, this means that if you want to take a decision, you would think, will my style icon do this? And that means you've been able to read a lot of their books, or you've probably been able to enroll for their mentorship courses, that you know what they think, you know their thought process. Now, for instance, you could have a style icon that is very, very intentional. You see him very, very hardworking, and you want to replicate the same brand. Of course, you know that you have to be 10 times more hardworking than he or she is. You know that, right? Now, your style icon could be a group of mentors, or your style icons could be the rich. Now, let me give you an instance. If you want to build wealth, your style icons should be people that have built wealth, that have achieved the result that you are looking out for. Now, let me tell you something. Don't take advice from people who do not have the kind of results that you're looking out for. Now, your style icon should be people that have generated results in that. It's very simple. Wealthy people do what the poor people can never do, and poor people do what the rich will never do. With respect to every set of individuals, I'm just really using these words to be able to separate a specific class of persons with respect to every person. Now, this is identifying your style icon and what it helps you do in building a brand, right? So I spoke about your style icon in terms of dressing. So sometimes your style icon, sometimes your style icon may not have it all. And what I mean by that is it's possible that your style icon may not have the kind of dressing you want, or your style icon may not have the kind of financial thought process you want. So you can have a blend of different style icons. So you can pick up someone else as your style icon in terms of dressing. So you pick up someone else as your style icon in terms of public speaking and every other thing. So you need to look out for these things in terms of building a. Now, the next thing to do if you want to be remembered, be in the hearts and minds of people, is building a unique story. And this good thing and exciting thing about building a unique story is that you don't have to build one. You already have a story, and your story is unique because there's no person on earth that has gone through what you have gone through. Yes, people may have gone through similar situations, but different experiences and different approaches. So put out your story out there. I have a story, and I'm going to share it with the world someday. You have a story. You should share it with the world. Now you need to build your story. You need to share your story with your audience. Now what I mean by that is document your journey, document your process. Like Tony Elumelu, you see him is always sharing content about his business meetings, his his travels and everything. You should do that. Document your story. If you just started your business in a small shop, document it and post it online. If you just rented a one room, if you have a vision, of course, you should know that this is just the starting point. Document your story. Let people see what you are doing. This is how people genuinely connect with you, and this is how you build a credible person. Sorry, let me put on my glasses. Yeah, I look more handsome, right? Okay, so how do you build a unique story? The unique story takes this position: your character, your warrants, and of course your obstacles. We all have this. Now, building a unique story, you have to be authentic with people. You have to be genuine. Don't lie to people. Talk about yourself. You understand? Be very, very genuine when you're building a story. Be authentic. People want to connect with you because of how genuine you are. You understand? So at most times, you as the character, you faced moments in your life where you really wanted something, and of course there's an obstacle. So these are the formats you take in creating a story. So let's say you want to be successful, but of course you didn't grow up in a background, you didn't grow up in a family that is rich or successful. So this is your obstacle. You have to start from zero. You know, the challenges you faced along the line, these are your obstacles. So you share with people. How were you able to overcome them along the line? And how were you able to overcome them along the line? These are the things you should share with people. These are to build a credible story about and around your brand so that people get to connect much better with you. And when you're building the story, don't forget to also share your vulnerabilities. Like, what were the weaknesses that you had to overcome? Even the ones that you're currently going through, you could share. Of course, you have to know how to go about that. Now, the next thing you should do when you've been able to build a story is positioning. How to position your brand so that you... Now, positioning is the space that your brand occupies in the hearts and minds of people. You understand? The space your brand occupies in the hearts and minds of people, and of course how much people are willing to pay you over a similar brand, a similar personal brand. So let's say you're in the speaking industry as a personal brand and you charge like $1,000 and somebody else charges $900. Will people be able to pay $100 extra for your personal brand? And this is positioning. It means, let's say you position yourself as a luxury speaker, or you position yourself as a luxury real estate broker. So you position your brand as someone that is perceived by the high net worth individuals as having so much value that they can pay more for you. So that is positioning. How do you position your brand that way? Is being able to invest in your brand, having the right knowledge, trajectory, of course, having the right goals. I think I spoke to you in the section where we talked about goals, that you need to know what you want to achieve with your brand. So if you position your brand well, if now so from the point of setting those goals, you've been able to know whether you want to appeal to the audience of high net worth individuals, or you want to appeal to people who can afford you. So these are things you should look at. Now, if you have followed up to this end, I want to really congratulate you, because you are on your path to building an irresistible personal brand that can stand out the test of time. And the next thing we look at, once you've been able to be recognized, be remembered, the next thing is, you got it right, be revered. Now, being revered as a personal brand is very, very important. It means that if a lot of people have a similar gut feeling about you, it means that you have a revered brand. Let me say that again. If a lot of people have a similar gut feeling about you, it means that you have a revered brand. It means they can beat their chest and say that they can give you $1 million, $1 billion naira to do business, and you can deliver. It means that you have a brand that is revered. You understand? Now, how do you build a revered brand? Can you be able to withstand the criticism that comes with building a brand? I was speaking with one of my clients that, we've been able to help him build a very, very wonderful brand around his business. And right away, a lot of clients ask me, Moses, which do you think is better, building my business brand or building my personal brand? I don't think there's anything as a business brand, because there's a lot of corporations trying to be more human than humans trying to become corporations. That is why in businesses we have the HR, human resource units, we have the customer care. Every company is designed to serve a particular individual and a particular group of persons. So that is why I believe the power of building a very formidable personal brand cannot be underestimated. If you go online, you find out that Tony Elumelu has more followers than UBA. Elon Musk has more followers than Tesla. This is because people follow people. They don't like to follow corporations or companies because they relate and connect more with people. So, of course, if you're looking out for building a brand, you should really look at building your personal brand. Now, how can you be able to withstand the criticism that comes along building a brand? Very, very important, because people will come after you. So my client was telling me that he's coming up, his company is really becoming big, and there's so much that comes along with that. How do you overcome such challenges? You have to be focused. Be focused on building your brand. You have to know that whatever you are doing that is worthwhile will attract the naysayers, will attract those who want you to grow and those who don't want you. Just be focused. It doesn't matter who is speaking about you. In as much as you're taking constructive criticisms and you're trying to do better, focus on your business. I don't even want to spend a lot of time on this, but the power of focus cannot be underestimated in building a brand that is revered and a brand that can stand out. iPhone is one of it. iPhone is a very strong brand. Apple, I mean to say, is a very, very strong brand. But every time they launch a new product, you find out that people say, this is the same thing, this is the same thing, this is the same thing. But people still buy. You understand? So you don't need to listen to everything that people say. If not, you will not have a personal brand. The idea of a personal brand is personal to you. But however, you're attracting people, you're attracting your tribe. So you have to build up your capacity to be able to withstand the pressure and the criticism that comes along having that comes with having an incredible personal brand. The next thing is you need to understand that the best heroes have the best villains. So that means that if you are building a personal brand that is going to stand out, you need to be ready for villains, and that will come in different factors. So you need to be ready. My mentor told me something. He said that he is not afraid of competition, and he does not approach competition from a point of, okay, somebody is doing something similar with me, therefore I need to be very, 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 I need to beat that person. No, you need to just identify what you can do better. What can you do better? That is what you need to focus on. What can you do better? What can you do better in your industry that any other person is not doing? That's how you beat competition. Because the next thing you also would look at in building, making sure your brand is revered, is how self-aware are you? Your personal brand, how self-aware are you? Because let me tell you, when you go on people's faces, if you're not strong, if your self-awareness is not strong, people will begin to project their own personalities to you. People will tell you how to behave. Understand? So you need to be self-aware so that you don't get distorted. So who are you? That is the question as you ask you. Is the world changing your narrative, or are you the one changing the narrative through your personal brand? So you need to have strong self-awareness. And how do you have a very strong self-awareness? Is by using what I first taught you about identifying your superpower, knowing that you were born and called to do something unique that only a few persons can do. Now, once you have a very strong self-awareness, you need to be confident. You need to be confident. Be confident in your personal brand. Be confident in pushing out yourself. And consistent, by the way, because you will start at the initial stages, there will or there might not be results. But just start. Just start. Keep going. Keep pushing. That is how you build a revered person. Now, the last thing I would like to tell you is do not blend in. Yes. Stand out. Stand out. Do something unique that people have never done before. Stand out, and do not underestimate the power of starting small and scaling high. At my company, TMA Media, we've helped countless brands, personal brands, high net worth individuals build personal brands through public relations, reputation management, and so much. And one thing I would tell you from experience is that there is power in standing out and identifying your niche. If your superpower is excellence, but really, really stand on excellence. If your superpower is integrity, really stand on integrity. And of course, I think you should have a blend of these two. It's very, very important. So you need to stand out. And how do you stand out? It's at the same time identifying what makes you unique and amplifying it, investing in yourself. Now, if you stay this long, I have a bonus for you. My team and I have helped countless individuals and businesses build personal brands that has attracted high net worth individuals and high revenue for them in their businesses. If you want us to help you do the same, click on the link in the description section of this video, and we will be excited to help you achieve your personal business goals. Now, if you've not subscribed to this channel, it will be amazing if you have gotten value to subscribe. And I'll be excited to have you join our wonderful community. My name is Moses Abba. See you next time.